I have something that I found interesting, and I'm curious on kind of what your. I'm laughing because I'm kind of curious as to what your take is on this, or the timing, or what have you.
All right.
Or maybe I'm being paranoid's not the word, but reading something into something that doesn't need to be read into, or you tell me. Right. I was watching 60 Minutes last weekend, and one of the stories was the cops, all the murders.
Murders of police.
No. All the murders they're having in Chicago.
Yeah.
All on outside of Chicago, and all the black-on-black crime, and all the gangs, and all the gangbangers, and this guy was shot at 17, and was walking to the liquor store, and he wasn't even in a gang, and all the crazy rash of
Chicago,
yeah. And all the violence.
Now you want to know how bizarre the media reporting is on the murders in Chicago. I couldn't even penetrate the stories enough to find out if it was black on black. Because it just goes murders up, murders, murder. People are murdering.
It's black on black.
I heard something about Hispanic. Is it?
Oh, well, yeah. Okay. I suppose, but it's mostly people of color on people of color, black on black mainly. Okay.
And why aren't we having that? Okay.
Okay. Right. So they dispatched their black reporter to go to Chicago to talk to the white police chief, at the time at least, and find out what's up, what's going on. And the answer is it's gone up X amount of percent because their stop and frisk has gone down tenfold. And he wants to know, and in 2015, you stopped 44,000 people. This year, you stopped 7,200 people. What's up?
Oh, he wants it back?
Well, that's the, here's what I'm trying to, first off, hey, idiots. They were stopping people. Guess what? Black people. You guys were complaining that they were stopping black people. Cops eventually did what any person, look, whether you're a cop, a fireman, or you work for UPS, if you're starting to get in trouble for dropping off packages and leaving them at the front door,
you stop doing that.
You just stop doing it.
Yeah.
You just stop. The cops themselves, they just said, look, if we get a 911 call, we'll roll on it. If not, we're staying in the car. Why? Because they don't want to show up as a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Of course. First off, 60 Minutes. Are you confused by this? This is so. Cops have stopped the stop and frisk thing tenfold. Murders have gone up fivefold. You're pissed at the cops, which I love. Now, I feel. Now, you tell me. This feels like, Obama's out, Trump's in. Let's flip the script.
Oh, interesting.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Felt to me like some sort of weird preemptive strike. Number two, you're 60 Minutes. You can't suss this one out. You don't know why the cops. The ACLU has a 2-page thing they want you to fill out every time you pull over. Anyone now who wants to know what the description and the ethnicity and the sexuality and the age and blah, 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 blah. Cops have done what anyone would do in any job, in any situation, except for a very small percentage of people on the planet, which is there's nothing good that can come from pulling over this guy. Well, he could be going to shoot another black kid, or I could lose my job. When you tell people you could lose your job or the city could burn down because you pulled the wrong guy over or did the wrong thing or whatever it was, well, then, of course, pulling people over and frisking them or talking to them or doing whatever you're doing is going to go down by leaps and bounds. And then the murders are going to go up because you have more of those people walking around with impunity. And then the 60 Minutes is going to dispatch a reporter to sit there earnestly going, what's going on? Why aren't these cops doing their job? What's going on?
Is that what they were asking?
Yeah, I want to know why the cops weren't doing their job.
Did they have any other was there any other element to the story? Any other
There's never the only element, which is no dad. All there is gangs. As if there's 59 gangs that roam around and they're just automatically populated by your son, my son, your daughter, my daughter, all the kids in my school's neighborhood. Like, they just come by with the big, it's the school to prison pipeline, as if it exists. No, you create it by not raising your children. Is 60 Minutes out to look? You want an answer, 60 Minutes? I'll tell you. Dads don't raise their sons. Their sons are looking for a parental sort of paternal figure. They find that in the gang, and thus the enrollment in the gangs go up, and thus the murders go up from there. What else would you like to know? You want to sit around and talk about cops on the beat? Well, you don't even need cops if you don't have a bunch of disenfranchised kids joining gangs.
I guess some just staying on the solution.
They literally wanted to ask what was the problem. And by the way, everyone tells me about this when I'm arguing with David Wild or whoever it is. Obama making doing one of his fucking town forums or whatever bullshit. I go, bring up the dads, bring up the dads, bring up the dads. How often do the dads come up? The most important thing. And don't give me this shit where it's like, oh, well, that's your opinion. Fuck you. I know 1,000%, and so does everybody. Whether they want to admit it or not, no dad equals kid in trouble.
Now, to be fair, though, now you've got a bunch of kids in trouble. And here in Los Angeles, we had some pretty good results with, the anti-gang squads, the former gang members coming in, and the... we
can throw a ton of... Look.
But we've had some... My question, though, is... We've had some success here in Los Angeles. Why aren't they consulting with the people that have really done it here?
Well, by the way, some success. The whole place is turned into a fucking tent city. The whole town is turned into a homeless dump.
That's a different issue.
Well, okay. No, our crime has gone up X amount of percent. I don't know if it's gang related or whatever it is. Yes, you can have success if you want to have a bunch of resources. You can have a bunch of... Look, if you would like to... If your basement is leaking, the best way to do it is from the outside. There is such a thing as doing it from the inside, but that's a lot more work and a lot more money, and it'll never be as effective as doing it right from the beginning, from the outside, which is starting with a dad.
Okay.
That's weatherproofing when you're pouring the basement. Everything's a building analogy for me. I'm just saying... They dispatched a guy from 60 Minutes to go to Chicago to find out what's going on, and he's perturbed that the cops aren't stopping more black guys and frisking them. Which is it, 60 Minutes? Which is it?
I guess it's
Progressive Reporter.
It must be the
I thought that was a bad thing.
I guess the pendulum swinging back as you predicted. You predicted a big pendulum swing.
Of course. Look, cops are going to just sit in their cars and let people shoot each other. What the fuck do they want to get involved? You think cops inherently care about the 16-year-old black kid who's a gangbanger shooting the other 16-year-old black kid?
They inherently want to do their job on behalf of the community. If the community doesn't want it, then they're right. I'll do something else. They got plenty to keep busy, I'm sure.
I'll sit in my car and I'll wait till 911 calls. I'll roll on the 911 calls. I'm not going to stop and pull over people or frisk people for no reason.
All right, let's take some calls.
Yeah, it's called policing.
Start with
the love
Ken
of Christ.
5.